Hey dudes, what's up? My name's Mark, and I am an artist currently on a journey to redraw a bunch of childhood drawings that I made as a child. Welcome to Redraw. This is a little series where I take 30 Mega Man Robot Master drawings that I drew when I was a wee lad and try to redesign them as an adult. This is part 7, featuring Psy-Man, who is very much the strangest, weirdest one so far, if you couldn't tell by looking at the original drawing. And to this day, I have no idea what kind of drugs I was taking when I drew him, so that one will probably be a question left unanswered for many years to come. So anyway, I was kind of on the fence on whether or not I should have even been recording right now, because I'm kind of getting over a sickness, pretty bad sickness. I was gonna do text on this video. I faded in and out, but I kind of, silly me, procrastinated a little bit, so I yeah, I figured recording would just be easier and quicker, especially because timeline-wise, I would be getting this done on Christmas Eve. So, and if you've been paying attention before, I've been splitting this challenge up into sets of 8 designs, and with the timing of this, the last one for this set, the 8th one, would be done right before the end of the year. So I want to try to make that happen. I think that'd be a good way to cap off the year, is by finishing this first round of designs. So I want to stay true to that, and I figured, let me just record and, man up. I'm mostly okay. I just got a little bit of a cough, but we're powering through it. But anyway, that's enough of that. This is Psy-Man, and this is a drawing that I have been dreading the most out of any of the ones that I've done so far, because I took one look at this guy and I'm like, how the hell do I even reinterpret this guy? Similar to Lightman, if you've been following. Lightman, I had a similar situation with, where I was just like, I don't know how the hell to like redesign this guy. I don't know how to reinterpret him. And unfortunately, throughout the entire process for that drawing, I kind of just stayed that way. And even when I finished him, I was just pretty much still left as unclear as I was when I started on what direction this guy took and what purpose this guy might have. And the design kind of felt a little aimless. It was still not bad, but I think I could have done better. And I kind of started off the same way with this guy, but thankfully with this guy, I think all the pieces kind of fell together pretty naturally. I was like super clueless on how to go about this guy, but I felt like I kind of took a look at him and like how weirdly geometric he was. And I kind of decided to play into that. I kind of had a couple ideas roll around in my head when I started to just kind of draw him like that, like very simple geometric shapes, and I kind of was tossing around 2 different ideas, but with like the main through line being that I wanted this guy to look like very alien, and like kind of just the probably the most inhuman looking one out of all the drawings that I've done so far. So I kind of couldn't really I was kind of bouncing back and forth between making him like an actual alien, like just having that be his thing. He's like some weird alien robot, um, which is something that this series has done and explored before in very loose, weird ways. Um, but the other idea that I thought would be cool was to kind of make him like a computer program, some kind of some kind of digital entity. Again, based on just the way he looks, like he's just comprised of very simple boxes and blocks, and is almost kind of polygonal in a way. So I think that was the direction that I ended up leaning towards. Because I mean, like, again, kind of like with Lightman, it's like like I guess psychic is such an abstract concept. It's just so like, oh, he's got what, psychic powers or whatever, like he can move stuff telekinetically. And I guess I just didn't really know what kind of function that would have. Like, it's cool, but it's also just, again, like it's kind of vague and doesn't scream like purpose to me. I don't know why I'm so fixated on what the purpose of these guys are, but that was like the main motivating factor. I mean, I guess it kind of makes sense because that's what drives the design aspect forward, is that kind of theme. But yeah, I just ended up becoming obsessed with what purpose these guys would be created for. When, I mean, in reality, if they're put in a game, they're being, I mean, mechanically they're there to fight, but also contextually they were reprogrammed to be fighters anyway. So I guess their backstory doesn't really matter all that much, but I don't know. I'm just a sucker for that stuff. But anyway, I digress. Um, so I kind of decided that I wanted him to be some kind of program, and the fact that the psychic part is the fact that he is a program and that he lives in a digital space and can kind of manipulate that space in his, to his will and all that. He's probably like built to be some kind of, or I guess programmed to be some kind of like antivirus robot that protects computers, kind of like I mean, maybe like a less sketchy Bonzi Buddy. If anybody here remembers Bonzi Buddy. Well, Bonzi Buddy was a virus, actually. He was just some weird, like, mascot character that you would install, but he, I think, came with like a bunch of malware attached to him. So maybe not the best analogy, but essentially I imagine him as like an antivirus program, and his domain is the digital space, and the psychic part of him comes from the fact that he's able to manipulate that space. And I think it'd be really cool for a stage, like, I don't know, like he could be, since he's been reprogrammed to become a virus, and viruses are so prominent in Mega Man, it's honestly kind of hilarious. But he gets reprogrammed as a virus and he starts infecting a bunch of computers and machines, and I don't know, maybe he leaks Dr. Light's search history or something like that. And so Mega Man has to stop him or something. He has to, like, I guess, be kind of like I think Battle Network, and he would like kind of hook himself up into like the digital space, into like the network, and he'd have to fight him there or something like that. That could be cool. be kind of different. And since Psy-Man uh, controls the digital space, he's able to kind of manipulate the stage on a whim or whatever, and he can kind of sort of rematerialize and dematerialize things. I don't know. I'm just kind of coming up with this stuff on the spot right now, but it could be cool. It could be really cool, especially because I feel like that's a concept that wasn't ever really explored in Mega Man Classic or anything like that. It's mostly just like robots in the real world. So that could be something fun. But yeah, that was pretty much my go-to going in with this guy. Is I wanted to make him a program and kind of reflect the inorganic nature of him. Like he looks humanoid, but he's kind of weirdly, freakishly alien and kind of like I don't know, almost like a cryptid, I guess, in a sense. I don't know if that makes any sense, but yeah. So as you could tell, I spent a lot of time thinking about this guy, and honestly, he ended up working out really well in the end, and was definitely one of the easier drawings, although I did have some trouble with the colors. I knew I definitely wanted to make him like sort of a royal purplish pink color. And I definitely wanted some yellow accents, but I wasn't really sure how far to bring them across his design, and also how complicated to make his colors. So you'll see me going back and forth between different shades of pinks and purples, and eventually I settle on something, but that's kind of been the running theme with when it comes to coloring with these drawings, is that I just go back and forth on coloring them and all that. So yeah, but in the end, I think it turned out really well. Part of that might be because he was such a simple design, and he actually ended up being pretty faithful to what I had drawn originally as a kid. Like, I mean, I got rid of his wings because I didn't really know what to do with them. I didn't really know what purpose they would serve. I mean, I guess they'd be kind of cool. Could like fly with them or whatever. But I feel like it'd be more appropriate to have him sort of almost have like this ethereal look to him where he's like floating or levitating instead, because that kind of makes me think more like psychic, I guess, something along those lines. And yeah, I think it worked out. So I replaced his wings with these sort of streamers, I guess, these sort of blocky streamers that kind of float about with him. I wanted to give him a very floaty, almost very uh, weightless look to him, and I think I got that with this pose. I actually really like how he looks. He looks kind of almost like natural yet unnatural in a way, and it's like kind of creepy in some ways, which I dig. So I don't think I could have made this an interpretation in any better of a way, considering what I was working with. Um, Not to toot my own horn or anything. I mean, I definitely still had some struggles with this guy, and especially in terms of um, any sort of like accessories he would have. And you could see I ended up giving him this like ring, because at one point I was considering almost having him be like a weird circus freak, before I ended up like eventually settling on the digital entity antivirus program thing, like almost as like a weird circus freak, and he, or like some sort of trapeze artist, and the psychic part would be like sort of like a circus freak act, which I guess could have been cool and unique, but I feel like it didn't really fit the way he looked. Because the way he looks doesn't really scream that. Like, he doesn't look like a carny or like or anything like that. And I wanted to do my best, again, like the others, to sort of preserve a lot of elements of the original design and try to reinterpret them in the new drawing. So I think the sort of weird digital entity makes the most sense. I think the alien angle could have made sense too, but I mean, that's something that's already been explored too, you know, in other Mega Man games where he's fought like weird alien entities. You don't know where really they came from. They just kind of came from nowhere. So I wanted to stick with something a little different. Um, at least different for what would be Mega Man Classic. Um, so yeah, I mean that's pretty much the gist of this guy. Um, I think color-wise, he turned out really well. I mean, he's very simple. Very, very simple. Again, with the theming, going back and forth between simple and complicated. Beastman was very complicated, a very hyper detailed drawing, and this guy is literally just simple blocks and shapes. Um, but it was almost like a good reset to do this guy in the way that I did, because um, I mean, it unbeknownst to you guys watching, I took a really long break after Beastman, and then I came back working on this guy some months later. And even though like I was really dreading working on him, I think this guy was like kind of the right design that I really needed to get back on the horse with this challenge. Um, just because I could interpret his design in such a simple way that or wouldn't take that much focus for it to look decent, I guess. I don't know if that makes any sense. But because of how simple his design ended up being, um, I think it just kind of naturally came to me, as I said in the beginning of the video, which was great. It was really, really awesome. I wasn't expecting that to happen. I was expecting for this guy to be a complete shit show. And yeah, I'm in the end, I think this ended up being one of my favorite designs. I mean, you'll see how it all comes together in a little bit, but it's just so funny because I remember with Beastman and uh, some of the others as well, I spent so much time going back and forth trying to do all this detail, blah blah blah, and I still do that here, of course, but this is one of the few good times where I was able to just kind of let go and just kind of let the hands do the talking. That probably sounds really stupid, but it's true. I mean, I just kind of, you know, trusted myself and really just stopped thinking about it, and it kind of just came together in a really nice way. I mean, there are always going to be some things about everything I draw that I wish I could have done better. I feel like his ring, I could have made a little more pronounced. It's really just a yellow ring that's like kind of polygonal looking. And I try to give it some effects as well, which you will, I'm sure, see in this video. You will definitely see in this video, because the whole process is in the video. But and those ended up not working out, and that's kind of just a case of me overindulging again, which is a bad habit of mine, where I just tend to overindulge in detail and effects when things aren't even really needed. And my flaw is that I don't really tend to realize that until I've wasted enough time. That I'm a very stubborn kind of artist, where I have a tendency to really try my best to make certain things work in a drawing. Like I've got a vision, and it's not coming out well on, you know, on paper or like as I'm drawing it, and but I really want to make it work. So I tried doing things over and over again, or I tried modifying or tweaking things, and I keep just messing around with stuff and wasting a bunch of wasting a bunch of time when I really should just be, I'm not so much cutting my losses, but like taking a step back and thinking, does this thing even really work with the drawing? Like, or is it just distracting? And is it just padding out the time that really uh, I I would even need for this kind of doodle? And I mean, you know, I'm spouting all this stuff, and it's really not that serious. I mean, I'm drawing fucking Mega Man characters. Ooh, freaking Mega Man characters. I've already swore a bunch on this video already. But yeah, I mean, it's not that serious. But it is, again, interesting to kind of just look back and see the weird little quirks and tendencies that I tend to um, find myself leaning into whenever I draw. But I'm trying to catch that stuff now. So I'm trying not to be so stubborn when something doesn't work and trying to make it work, and instead just kind of letting things be as they are. Um, but it is a bad habit that is dying very, very hard. um, but in the end, I think it was for the best to just not have all these weird ring effects around this guy. So, yeah. But anyway, that's a wrap on this guy, Psyman, number 7. I was really happy with this one. I actually ended up tweaking him a little bit more after I stopped recording. But yeah, no, I really like how this guy came out. Definitely one of my favorites. Big surprise with the process, and yeah, couldn't be happier with it. But anyway, I guess I'll sign off by saying we got one more left in this first set of 8. We got number 8, and the next one, the last one, is going to be probably the most interesting. Maybe not the weirdest like this one, but the most interesting in terms of the process. So I hope you stick around for that. Thanks for watching and all that jazz. Happy holidays if you celebrate. And yeah, gonna round off the year with our last Robot Master. And then after that, I'm gonna take a little bit of a break from this challenge. I do have a couple extra goodies, Mega Man related goodies, following this. But in terms of this challenge that I'm imposing on myself, I am going to take a little break for a while to focus on other things and also to not burn myself out. So, anyway, I'll see you for the next one and the last one for this year. Take it easy. Bye bye.